Maya sat at the corner table of the small cafe, both hands wrapped around a cup of coffee that had long lost its warmth, staring at the steamless surface as if it held all the answers to the doubts that clung to her heart. Being a single mother wasn't something she planned. It was something life forced on her when her ex-husband walked away 2 years earlier, leaving her with a toddler on her hip and a storm of unanswered questions. She learned to survive, to adapt, to be strong for her daughter, Lily, who was now 4 years old and the only real sunshine in her life. But strength came at a cost, loneliness. Tonight was supposed to be her first attempt at stepping out of her comfort zone, her first attempt at meeting someone new, and yet the moment she saw Ethan, kind eyes, confident smile, warm presence, she felt immediate panic. They had exchanged a few messages online, harmless conversations, nothing too personal, and she had purposely avoided mentioning Lily, not because she was ashamed, but because she was tired of watching men's expressions shift the moment they heard she was a single mom, tired of conversations suddenly turning cold, tired of disappearing acts after small talk that never went anywhere. So when Ethan arrived looking so genuinely happy to meet her, she felt a knot form in her chest. He asked about her job, she answered politely. He made a joke, she laughed weakly. But the entire time, guilt sat heavily on her shoulders. Finally, unable to hide the truth any longer, she took a deep breath, looked him straight in the eyes, and said words she'd repeated too many times to count. Before we go any further, you should know I'm a single mom. And men don't really like single moms. She expected the familiar shift, the awkward smile, the subtle distance, the immediate calculation of baggage versus benefit. But Ethan didn't react the way she expected. Instead, he blinked, leaned back slightly as if absorbing her words, then leaned forward again, elbows on the table, eyes steady on hers. His voice softened. "Why would you think that?" he asked gently. She shrugged, staring at her cup. "Because it's true. I've lived it. Most men don't want someone with a child. They want freedom, fun, a woman without responsibilities, someone they can start fresh with." Ethan studied her, not with judgment, but with curiosity. "And what do you want?" The question caught her off guard. No one had asked her that in years. She hesitated, then whispered, "I want someone who doesn't see my daughter as an obstacle, someone who doesn't see me as used or broken." Her voice cracked, betraying emotions she tried so hard to hide. Ethan reached across the table, not touching her, but placing his hand close enough that she could feel the warmth of his presence. "Maya," he said quietly, "having a child doesn't make you less. It means you've loved, you've fought, you've survived. It means you're strong enough to care for someone other than yourself." She tried to smile, but her throat tightened. "Strong," she repeated. "It doesn't always feel like strength. Sometimes it feels like drowning." Ethan nodded. "And yet you're still here." His words hit her deeper than she expected. Their conversation flowed slowly at first, then more easily. Ethan didn't run. He didn't shut down. He asked about Lily, what she liked, what made her laugh, how old she was. He didn't ask in the obligatory way people did when trying to be polite. He asked with sincerity, with interest, with a softness that unnerved Maya. She wanted to trust him, but hope was a dangerous thing. After an hour, Maya excused herself to the restroom, needing to breathe. Her reflection stared back at her. A woman who had been hurt too often, who had learned to walk cautiously, who feared being seen yet longed to be understood. When she returned, she found Ethan smiling at Lily's photo that had fallen out of Maya's bag. Embarrassed, she rushed to pick it up, but he gently stopped her. "She's beautiful," he said. "She looks like you." Maya wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe in this moment, in the possibility that not every man saw her daughter as a burden, but wounds from the past whispered caution. When the meeting ended, Ethan insisted on walking her to her car, and though she refused twice, he persisted politely, not out of dominance but out of genuine concern. When they reached her car, she thanked him for the evening, expecting this to be the last time she saw him. She braced herself for the take care goodbye men gave when they had already made up their minds. But Ethan surprised her again. "Can I see you again?" he asked softly. Maya stared at him, stunned. "Even after knowing I'm a single mom?" Ethan paused, then gave her a smile so honest it disarmed her. Especially after knowing that. She didn't know what to say. Her heart trembled with a mixture of fear and hope. And as she watched him walk away, she wondered for the first time in years whether she had misjudged what she deserved, whether she had shielded her heart for so long that she no longer recognized a good thing when it showed up. The night air felt different, lighter, warmer, as if the universe had opened a small door she thought had long been locked. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in a long while, she wanted to find out. Over the next few days, Maya found herself replaying the conversation in her mind, analyzing every word Ethan had said, wondering whether he truly meant it or was simply being polite, wondering whether he would actually call or slowly fade away like the others before him. But he didn't fade. He messaged her the very next morning, not with forced flattery or empty lines, but with a simple, thoughtful text. "Good morning. I hope you and Lily have a great day." That message alone disarmed her more deeply than compliments ever could. Ethan wasn't trying to impress her. He was trying to know her. And slowly, gently, cautiously, Maya found herself wanting to respond. Their conversations flowed naturally, long voice notes, late-night messages, small jokes about daily life. He asked about her work, her routines, her struggles, and he listened, really listened, with patience, with warmth, with respect. Maya couldn't remember the last time a man listened without judgment, without rushing her, without treating her story as something inconvenient. But the real test came 5 days later when Ethan asked if he could officially meet Lily, not out of pressure but out of genuine desire. "Only if you're comfortable," he added. Maya hesitated. She had introduced Lily to only one man after her divorce, and the moment things got serious, he left. She couldn't risk Lily's heart breaking again. "Let's take it slow," she told Ethan. "I don't want her getting attached unless someone is truly, staying." Ethan nodded understandingly. "Then I'll wait, as long as it takes." And he did. For 2 weeks, Maya kept her guard up, expecting Ethan to lose interest. But instead of drifting away, he anchored himself gently into her life. He brought her coffee on days she was exhausted. He called just to hear her voice when she sounded stressed. He sent silly videos that made her laugh when she didn't want to. And slowly her heart began to soften. Finally, one sunny Saturday morning, she let Ethan come over. Lily, shy at first, peeked at him from behind Maya's leg, her tiny fingers clutching her mother's jeans. Ethan crouched down to her level, giving her space. "Hi, Lily," he whispered gently. "Your mom tells me you like drawing. I brought something for you." He reached into his bag and pulled out a small set of crayons and a coloring book. Lily's eyes lit up instantly. She looked up at Maya, who nodded gently and then took the crayons with a shy smile. It was the first smile Maya had seen on her daughter's face toward a man in years. They spent the afternoon together, Ethan helping Lily color, Maya watching them with a lump in her throat. Her daughter laughed freely, loudly, joyfully, a sound Maya had missed hearing so much. That night after Lily fell asleep, Maya walked Ethan to the door. She wanted to thank him but didn't know how, because gratitude seemed too small a word for what he had given her that day. Ethan looked at her, sensing her emotions. "You're doing a great job, Maya," he said softly. Her lip trembled. "I'm trying." "You're not trying," he corrected. "You're succeeding." It was the first time someone had said those words to her since she became a mother. Tears slipped down her cheeks before she could stop them. Embarrassed, she wiped them quickly. "Sorry," she whispered. "I don't know why I'm crying." Ethan gently placed his hand near hers. "Because you've carried everything alone for too long." His voice was soft, steady, safe, and for the first time in years, Maya allowed herself to cry, not out of sadness but out of release. Over the next month, their bond deepened. Lily adored Ethan, running to him every time he visited. And Ethan, he loved Lily not as an obligation or an accessory to Maya, but as a little girl who deserved affection, stability, and laughter. But the true moment that sealed Maya's heart came one evening. When Ethan showed up at her door after Lily had a terrible fever, Maya was frantic, exhausted, overwhelmed, pacing the small living room as Lily cried weakly on the couch. Ethan walked in, gently took Lily's tiny hand and whispered, "You're okay, sweetheart. I'm here." Maya watched him cradle her daughter, wiping her forehead, humming softly until Lily calmed. That night, Ethan didn't leave. He stayed on the floor beside Lily, letting her sleep against his chest until the fever broke. And in the quiet glow of the dim lamp, Maya realized something startling. Ethan hadn't simply accepted her being a single mom. He had embraced it. One evening, weeks later, while they sat outside watching Lily play with her bubbles, Maya finally whispered the truth she had held inside for so long. When I said men don't like single moms, I meant that I didn't think anyone would ever choose us. Ethan turned to her, with that same soft gaze he had given her on their first date. Maya, he whispered, lifting her chin gently, I didn't choose you two out of obligation. I chose you because you're strong, loyal, loving, and real. And I chose Lily because she's part of you. She's family. And if you'll let me, I'd like to be part of that family too. Her breath caught. Her heart trembled. And for the first time since her marriage ended, she felt something she thought she had lost forever. Hope. Real, solid, life-changing hope. She took his hand, squeezed it, and whispered, We'd like that. And in that moment, everything changed, not because a man entered her life, but because she finally realized she deserved love that didn't run, love that didn't fear responsibility, love that saw her not as a burden but as a blessing. For the first time in years, the future didn't look heavy. It looked bright. It looked possible. It looked like a second chance.